Ukraine war. Russia continues to attack Ukrainian cities, including Kiev, Kharkiv and Mariupol. The attacks have caused massive damage and casualties, and displaced millions from their homes. Russia has continued to attack Ukrainian cities in the third day of the military operation. The attacks have focused on major cities, including Kiev, Kharkiv and Mariupol. In Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, the attacks targeted military and civilian targets. Several residential buildings were destroyed, and dozens of people were killed. In Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, the attacks also caused heavy damage. Several government buildings were destroyed, and hundreds of people were killed. In Mariupol, a port city in southern Ukraine, the attacks cut off electricity and water supplies. Thousands of people have been trapped in the city, and the humanitarian situation is getting worse. The United Nations Security Council has voted against a draft resolution condemning Russia's aggression against Ukraine. 11 council members voted in favor. 1 member, Russia, voted against and 3 members, China, India and UAE, abstained. The United Nations Security Council has voted against a draft resolution condemning Russia's aggression against Ukraine. The draft resolution received 11 votes in favor, 1 vote against and 3 abstentions. Russia voted against the draft resolution, while China, India and the UAE abstained. These countries consider that the draft resolution does not fully reflect the actual situation, and is not capable of solving the crisis. Western sanctions against Russia are starting to have an impact, weakening the ruble and disrupting the Russian economy. However, Russia continues its military campaign in Ukraine. Western sanctions against Russia are starting to have an impact. The ruble has depreciated sharply, and the Russian economy is in disarray. The sanctions include closing airspace to Russian airlines, freezing the assets of Russian oligarchs, and banning imports of Russian oil and gas. Although sanctions are having an impact, Russia continues its military campaign in Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin has stated that he will not stop fighting until his goal is achieved. The Ukraine crisis is having a global impact, raising oil and gas prices and disrupting supply chains. International organizations are calling for a peaceful solution to the crisis, but there are signs that the fighting will soon be over. The Ukraine crisis is having a global impact. Oil and gas prices have skyrocketed, and supply chains are disrupted. International organizations, including the United Nations and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, have called for a peaceful resolution of the crisis. However, there are signs that the war will soon be over. Russian President Vladimir Putin has stated that he will not stop fighting until his goal is achieved. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has also stated that he will not surrender. The Ukraine crisis is the biggest crisis in Europe since the Second World War. The crisis is having a profound impact on the global economic and security situation.